Or you have the website, you can continue to add content to the website. You can continue to have community meetings or participate in community meetings and ask people to upload materials, whatever, to the website. So there are things that can be done without grant funding to maintain the momentum. And I actually love what Homer said. It may not be the worst thing to happen that the LOI is not approved. It's an opportunity to regroup, think bigger, and because I would love to see, when you mentioned the John Coltrane House,
I wish I could
for a
try that
long
one.
time, I was really resistant to efforts to what the family would see, take it from the family, but I'm no longer at that point. And I think this opportunity to get conservatorship of the
I would love to.
of the John Coltrane House. And if that's put into this bigger, the Friends of the Philadelphia Archives, anything with John Coltrane's name attached to it gets people's interest. So this, out of crisis opportunity, this may be an opportunity to rethink and to think bigger. Because right now the Cleft Club is always on the brink of disaster. And so right now it's going forward. 2 years from now, it may be something else. Because it's not really a stable institution. I would love to see it at the Bloxon collection. Every archive you visited is associated with the university, right?
No, there's some archives that, I visited another one in Tremé in New Orleans. Archive and museum. It's very small, but it's privately owned. So it's,
The major ones.
major ones are.
And you want this to be a major.
But can I
Right.
say one thing? I would not consider it until the relationship is
Oh, really?
mended
Oh,
with
yeah.
the
Oh,
Cleft Club,
absolutely.
and
Sure.
they're willing to endorse it and not see,
Oh, yeah,
us
yeah.
as, taking something from them.
No,
Something
right,
you don't
I
want.
agree.
But no, but I think the relationship is not easily, will be mended, and with the Cleft Club. Because it's not about the project, it's about the internal dynamics. I think we can go forward with the relationship with the Cleft Club. But I wouldn't, if the LOI comes with a negative, I wouldn't think that that's the end of this effort. It's the beginning of a bigger effort.
Yeah.
So should I draft a letter and everybody can weigh in on it? And should it come from the whole group?
I think it should come from the whole group. If
Everybody
everybody
signs
agrees
it?
with the letter.
Okay, unless somebody has an objection to it or.
But you are gonna draft it in collaboration with Helen, if she's physically able, Helen, Ann, and Lovett. Yes.
or Ann.
Well,
They wouldn't be able to be signers, but they could collaborate on the
Yeah.
Right,
project.
Yeah,
right, right,
right.
Get their input, yeah.
right. Let them know this is what you're doing. And the letter is to Ken in his capacity as board president. The
Yes.
letter is to Ken.
I mean, he
Stein.
wrote the letter to me,
Right, so you
so
can
I
respond to his, okay.
Yeah, right, so.
But I see what you're saying, Diane, I think that is important, that not just to go somewhere else, and then, because you're talking about a long-term, permanent home, and then for the rest of history, it'll be, well, they said no. So, if we were to go somewhere else, it would have to be because it was fully explained, they fully understood it, they had very calm and reasoned explanation for why they couldn't do it. So, and that may not be the point, because there are so many reasons why they should do it. So the more we talk, the more sense it does make to go back and make sure that you've really explored that.
I agree.
Okay. Any final? Steve, you there?
He fell asleep.
Yeah, but I say wake up.
My phone died or something? Okay.
I'm still texting him.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I had it on mute.
I just texted him, wake up.
One of the questions I had is, do you think there's a possibility that even if they were going to approve the LOI, that they would now turn it down just because of this mess that they heard about?
No, I specifically asked them, and they said they would let it go through the process, as if nothing happened.
Oh, good.
They specifically, committed
Yeah.
to that.
Huge.
Yeah,
That's huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
So So that means that there's a possibility that they'll approve it and which means if it's approved, does that mean that they're actually gonna fund it?
No, the LOI just means you're approved to apply
The next
for a
step.
full application. So
Oh, I see.
it's an initial application, like a first pass, and then the full application is due June 27th, I think, somewhere around there.
So they could have been hedging their
That would
bets.
be some positive,
Absolutely.
ammunition
had to say
go
what he
back
said.
to the club and just say, look, we're really sorry this happened, we didn't know, we can understand why you got caught off guard and why you felt, protective, and we'd like to work out a way that this can benefit everybody.
Absolutely, yeah, and the fact that, you know, the project is approved for full application is not a guarantee of funding, but it's a strong indication that the project will be funded. You know, usually when you get through the LOI, you're successful with the full application. So yeah, it'd be a way of saying this project is teed up and ready to go. We just need to mend all the fences and, yes.
You might also, I don't know
Yeah.
if this has come into it, but with any Pew project that is funded, they give 20%
Yes. So that's
for
60
overhead
Yeah.
for operations.
Yeah, that's true.
And that would be, I assume, go to the Clef Club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I told them that. I said that, I mean, we were working on a $300,000
Yeah.
total grant. I said, you get $60,000
Yeah,
just for general operating support, 20% on all Pew grants. So,
yeah.
it's, you know, not an insignificant amount of
What did
money.
he say?
I'm sorry?
What was their response?
Yeah,
Well, they still have to worry about.
There wasn't any
year after that,
demonstrative
so,
reaction.
They were processing through
Everything.
They-
Exactly.
First time.
exactly.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was like a.
so you get
comment.
60,000.
I was
I'll
telling
be
Jack,
there,
I'm
brother.
glad.
All right.
There.
How about this place?
It would- I would
Yeah.
want your place
Good.
I like this place.
The wood is a fire hazard.
Oh, yeah.
very
but,
clear.
All right, so
There.
are we
Think we're good.
concluded then? Anybody have anything to add? Or?
What is your plan in terms of reaching back to Helen and Lovett?
Well, I talked to Lovett today,
Okay,
and Helen's in the hospital.
sorry.
So I think I might reach out to Ann in the meantime and just say, I'll tell her, you know, well, I'll email all of them, whether Helen is able to respond or not, I don't know. But I'll just give them the sense of, and I'll copy all of you, that, you know, this was the consensus of the meeting that we should try to,
Enthusiastically pursue this.
I'm sorry?
Enthusiastically.
Yeah,
right,
that the committee
right.
continues to, you know, enthusiastically endorse the Clef Club, and that we should try to set up a meeting with the board and, I mean, from Ann's emails to us, she must have been as stunned as anyone.
Yeah, because she was talking about programming down the road and everything else.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
when this grant comes through, we're gonna do this and this. and, you know.
And you have not heard
Yeah.
from Ann since the board meeting?
I'm sorry?
You have not heard from
All
Ann
right, so-
since the board meeting?
I tried to call Helen the day after and got no response. And then the meeting was a Thursday. Then I called her on Friday, nothing. I called her on Monday, nothing. Then I finally emailed her and Ann. That was Tuesday. And Ann emailed me back and said, the board has some concerns. The president is going to get in touch with you. And a few hours later, I got that email. It was an email from Helen. It was weird, though. It was from the board chair's email address, but Helen signed it and said, thank you for addressing the board last week. Please attached, see the letter from President Ken Scott. Any questions, let me know or call me. So I didn't respond to that. I did respond to Helen and Ann and just said, I'm not going to react right now. After I read the letter, I just sent them an email, said, in the interest of restraint, because I was pretty
It's a lot
upset.
of work.
So I just said, I'm not going to respond right now. I'm going to withhold my response, because if I had responded, I probably would have, you know, been,
Regretted it.
yeah, I would have
Yeah.
said some things that discretion.
Jack didn't even call me right away because he was worried about how.
Well, I knew you would go through the roof. And text.
And
right.
was there any response to that email? No?
Well, you know, it could be that, you know, I agree with Faye. It could be that were I in their place, I would have said the same thing. But I say all that to say that it could be that the board needs to create a paper trail that looks like they didn't act capriciously, but they actually are waiting to find out what happens with Pew.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to parse the letter a little.
I mean, we're not in his head, but
Yeah.
the thing is, you can't be in a position of putting themselves out there in a way that doesn't look like they've thought it through.
Right.
And from the standpoint of them not knowing what was going on prior to you walking in there to have the discussion, they have to have a paper trail that says, we responded
Right.
in the only way that we could respond.
We did our due diligence.
Right.
and- yeah.
Right.
Well, I think the first thing is to wait for the LOI approval, and then I'll draft a letter, let everybody weigh in on it, and then we'll send it off as a group, I guess, and ask for a meeting with a small contingent of people.
Great, thank you.